It started back in the late 50s when the original owner of the Cowboys, before he bought the Cowboys, named Clint Murkison, you probably heard of him, tried to buy the Redskins first, thought he had a deal, and it got jerked out from underneath him, and he was furious about it and said, okay, I'll go buy the Dallas Cowboys and I'll come back to haunt you. And he started with an expansion team in 1960 when the Cowboys were born to haunt the Redskins. All through the 60s and into the 70s, they played great game after classic finish, great game after great game. And you know why? The players and the cities came to hate each other. I don't think Pittsburgh hates Baltimore. I mean, I could be wrong. You grew up in Pittsburgh. You don't hate the city of Baltimore, right?
We just like Cleveland more.
Cleveland.
But see, that was the original. That was
okay,
the original
but you know what?
You got to win some games.
Yeah.
This rivalry was born under the premise of it was our capital, the nation's capital,
Yep.
Washington, versus, and I hate to even say this because it was so terribly unfair, but it was the way the country for a long time viewed Dallas, Texas, the city that killed Kennedy. So you had Washington, D.C. versus the city that killed Kennedy. Again, unfair to me, but the way it was viewed, and that was what the rivalry lifted out of that kind of hatred for each other, and it trickled down to the players. And you know the Clint Longley game. We were talking off camera about it, what was it, yesterday?
Yes.
This was Thanksgiving in 1974. This kid from Abilene Christian comes in because Roger Staubach got knocked out of the game, and all of a sudden he just went completely crazy, and it's Drew Pearson with a late touchdown pass, shocked the world, and George Allen, the great coach of the Redskins at the time, called it his toughest loss ever because it had to be. Then I witnessed in '79, the greatest regular season comeback ever. Look it up. Roger Staubach against the Redskins, 35-34 at Texas Stadium. Harvey Martin, somebody from the Redskins, had sent him a funeral wreath before during the week before the game, which is always called Redskins Week in Dallas. And he walked in the Redskins locker room after the game and hurled the wreath at the Redskins. So this is classic rivalry. Then does it get any better than Joe Theismann coming to Texas Stadium on his birthday, opening night, Monday Night Football, 1985, and they were favored to win the game and to win the division, and he throws 5 touchdown passes, and the whole stadium gets to serenade him singing happy birthday to Joe Theismann at the end of the game. 44-14 Dallas. It just goes back. I could go back and forth with these games. I could go all the way to Jimmy Johnson's first year. Redskins coming off a Super Bowl win with Doug Williams, first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl, MVP of that game against, remember the game in San Diego against John Elway? Yep. And what happened that year? Dallas won one game at Washington. How did they do it? They go 1-15 and they beat Doug Williams and company in D.C. It goes back and forth all the way to 2014, Romo's best year, right?
Yep.
They had won 6 in a row, had Dallas. Monday Night Football, guess who the starter was for the Washington Redskins? Colt McCoy came to Jerry World on Monday Night Football and beat Tony Romo, and he gets knocked out of the game.
But shouldn't you be playing if this rivalry is as tense and as heated and as great as you say it? Shouldn't they be playing in the playoffs with something on the line since 1982?
Yeah, but they keep knocking each other out of the playoffs. I don't know. I mean, huh?